Oh, no.
We have numbers coming back, but we have a superstar in house.
We do.
Just walked in the door. He's standing right here next to us.
Scooch up.
Say hello.
How is the camera not getting
Can we get a better camera angle? Here, see who's here.
He's here just to...
Cameo
He's
appearance.
doing some other stuff here. But
we don't have a microphone on you is a problem.
Well,
but
it's so excited to be on the air. Am I on TV?
You're on TV.
That's incredible. I'm with Becky.
With the greatest show, greatest show in the world.
This is the greatest show on earth.
Wow, keep that tape. Oh. And by the way, with what is arguably the most successful company in America today.
Well,
Can we just say that?
Well,
broadly than that.
Just on the trajectory it's been.
Probably not quite market cap in terms of getting to this market cap.
Yes, unbelievable.
Like
Unbelievable ride.
16 days or whatever the hell
It wasn't
Anyway.
quite 16 days. 32 years and 16 days.
That's what they always say about instant success. It's always like decades in the making.
then overnight.
Usually.
And then an overnight.
Oh my God, we have a...
Do you, hold on. I have one
We do
last-
have the
It's the numbers.
Do you
PTI.
notice, though, the market fluctuations of your own stock? Like, do you look every day?
Not every day.
Not every day?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll look at the end of the day.
At the end of the day?
Yeah.
And you feel
Sometimes
good? Does it impact how good or bad you feel?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I'm curious. No, because it does go up and down a lot. That we talk about every day.
Are you interested in the PPI today and what the, I know I said PP, but are you interested in the
Producer
inflation
prices,
data? We
they're
got to
right
do,
now.
I think we should let Rick do it.
There's nothing I could do about it, so my interest level is low.
That's right.
But I still enjoy your show.
Thank you.
That's
We love
nice.
having you
Come
here.
in.
Thank
Go,
you.
you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jensen.
Take a look at the Nasdaq this morning. As Jim mentioned, Jensen Huang and NVIDIA ringing the opening bell after crashing the squawk set this morning. Made us a couple seconds late on PPI, but was worth it.
Look, I think people have to understand that he's had a three-day roadshow. That's why the stock's been levitating. Speaking to all of the big accounts that own the stock, he's very loyal. If you want to hear what he's been saying, you go to the Tech Unheard. That's the podcast of Renee Haas, who used to work at NVIDIA, now works at runs ARM. Here's what I think he was telling you. Ellison needs every chip. ChatGPT needs every chip. Zuckerberg needs every chip. Musk needs every chip. Jassy needs every chip. The demand is so unbelievable here that we have to recognize that this is a multi-year phenomenon, not one iteration, not two. And he says software never dies. Jensen Huang is one of the most influential people in the world, and he is a force of good.
Let's get the opening bell here at the big board as well. It's Beazer Homes celebrating its 30th listing anniversary. And as we mentioned, NVIDIA at the NAS celebrating 25 years listed as Huang does the honors.
Yep, he's quite
Jim,
amazing.
can I, you talk NVIDIA, of course. AMD yesterday had an important unveiling of a new chip. The stock actually responded negatively to that. You talk about the unlimited need. We talk about it a great deal for these GPUs. Obviously, AMD entering that market previously. Now a new launch as well to try to compete with Blackwell. Is it just a function that there's so much need that they will succeed? Or
Yes, I think so.
What do you make of the negative response?
Last year, she did the same thing. The stock 5 days later was up a lot. I think the people have to understand that because like because AWS wasn't there. Apparently, there wasn't that a big presence for Jassy. That people were like worried. I mean, just give me a break. She's doing a remarkable job. You want to own that stock too. She is, without a doubt, got the clear number two, not Intel. I can't say enough good about her.
Where's the biggest opportunity this season?
Well, I think one of the most controversial and biggest opportunities is definitely in NVIDIA. Our analyst, Toshiya Hari, just raised estimates this morning. He is now 14% above consensus for next year for NVIDIA earnings. He has a very strong view on the idea that their near-term products are doing well. You can still debate the ROI of AI and Gen AI over time, but over the next year, he's seeing really strong fundamentals to drive that one to the upside.
So it's not in the stock, you're saying?
Correct.
We teased a little bit on your NVIDIA position. Can we just start there? Because I always think of you as more of a maybe it was a small cap when you were first buying it.
It's in another portfolio than the one that I run, but at our firm, we've owned it for over a decade. And that was really based off of this technology that was quite groundbreaking. And its applications were still not really, it hadn't really found its footing in terms of the right application for this really powerful chip. Eventually, it found that in gaming. And then by, a very happy accident, it is the perfect application for it in AI.
All right. So what's the concern that you have with large cap tech in general right here?
I think that the expectations are really, really high in terms of what AI can deliver in the near term. And my concern with NVIDIA in particular, not that we are interested in selling the position, but the thing that gives me a little bit of pause in terms of adding is just that there's so much customer concentration, right? It's about 5 companies that are driving the majority of that business. And so it's not that I'm worried that these companies are going to go elsewhere, not materially really, but what I worry about is just that they slow down their spending. And when you have expectations as high as they are for NVIDIA, that can be a concern that can really create a lot of disappointment and hurt feelings in investors as they pull back.
Nudging retailers out of the Mag 7 stocks. They've done a pretty good job, right? So NVIDIA has come down big time. Retail investors have jumped out of the Mag 7, in part because every time they turn on TV, some expert says, get out. I know that you just recently reiterated your case for NVIDIA. So what is it? Why are you still, hey, NVIDIA, these stocks are still worth owning?
Well, Charles, for the last 3 years, I've heard the death knell for technology stocks every single summer. We call it the summer swoon. So we were adding to names like Dell and AMD, and we initiated a position in NVIDIA when it got down close to 100. You can't argue with the earnings growth. I know people are saying, well, how are companies going to make money off of this? We're seeing use cases explode across the sectors that we cover and own in our portfolios, and we're seeing it come down to the bottom line. So it's one thing to ask how Microsoft is going to make money, which, by the way, they are on AI. And it's another thing to say, did Walmart margins improve? Did Walmart's productivity improve utilizing AI and robotics? And the answer is yes. So I really encourage your viewers to take a longer term perspective. Earnings growth for NVIDIA, for example, is still going to be 100%. And then it decelerates to 70 or 80. So
it's always amazing to me that people think the same folks that orchestrated a $3 trillion economy are too dumb not to understand the investments that they need to make so that they can create the next $3 trillion in value.
Well, I think if someone thinks PEs mark the top of stocks, then people are cautious. But to me, the PE is rising because the U.S. economy and companies survived a stress test, Scott. We had a pandemic. We had global trade stop. We have a huge inflation cycle. The Fed, the fastest rate hikes in history. Let's say 4 things that just bombarded corporate earnings, and companies are producing record profits. So to me, they survived a stress test that warrants higher multiples. I just don't personally think 20 times for a category leading company is expensive, even 25 times. And, like if we're talking about NVIDIA, why, I don't know, sure the cap should be 30. And so I think that we have this uncomfortableness because PEs are rising, but I think companies have really survived, 4 cataclysmic stress tests too.
All right, I hope you're all doing great today. The S&P finished the day up about 0.6%, and NVIDIA finished the day nearly flat. A lot has happened with NVIDIA this week. This past Sunday, NVIDIA updated their investor presentation. Then we got NVIDIA's AI Summit in Washington, D.C. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang was in New York this week speaking with investors. Foxconn announced a new NVIDIA superchip facility. We got confirmation that OpenAI has started to receive shipments of Blackwell. And Microsoft announced that Microsoft Azure is officially the first cloud in the world running on NVIDIA's Blackwell platform. The fact that some of NVIDIA's customers are already starting to use Blackwell is a very big deal. At NVIDIA's last earnings conference call, we were told that Blackwell would start shipping in Q4. And here we are right now, still in NVIDIA's fiscal third quarter, and we have confirmation from multiple NVIDIA customers that they are already receiving shipments and starting to use Blackwell. This means that we should see some Blackwell revenue show up in NVIDIA's next earnings report. I'm not talking about guidance for Blackwell revenue. I mean actual Blackwell revenue on the books. This is a very big deal. In the short term, I don't know what will happen because anything is possible. And personally, I am cautious about adding to NVIDIA and cautious about adding to the rest of the market until November 1st. This is because of the pattern the market followed back in 2016 and 2020. Back then, the market began trading lower in mid to late October, reaching a relative low on the Friday before the election. This year, that would be November 1st. And keep in mind that back in 2020, the market actually traded higher during the first half of October before eventually trading lower in the second half of the month. And so even though the market is moving higher right now, I am still cautious until we get to November 1st. I don't know what will happen between now and then, and I personally would rather be patient just in case. Now, once we get to the actual week of the election, I think the market is likely to start trading higher as it did back in 2016 and 2020. And this is assuming that nothing unexpected is happening in the world at that time. And I think NVIDIA is especially likely likely to trade higher in November in anticipation of NVIDIA's next earnings report. This is because of Micron's great earnings that they reported and because of Blackwell, both Blackwell revenue and fourth quarter guidance for Blackwell revenue. As of NVIDIA's latest earnings conference call, we were expecting about $3 to $4 billion in Blackwell revenue in Q4. So if NVIDIA guides Q4 Blackwell revenue noticeably higher than $3 to $4 billion, then I think the stock likely trades higher on that news. So those are my short-term thoughts about NVIDIA. I also want to remind you all of NVIDIA's next AI summit, which is scheduled for October 23rd through the 25th in Mumbai. And this time, CEO Jensen Huang is scheduled to speak at the AI summit on October 24th. So be sure to mark your calendars for that. Now looking ahead with a long-term perspective, I am bullish on the future of NVIDIA. And I would not be surprised if this company doubles over the next 2 years, given NVIDIA's current growth trajectory and upcoming product cycles. And on that note, I'll share these 2 slides again from NVIDIA's updated investor presentation. This first slide shows some of the components of Blackwell. And the reason I share this is to remind you that Blackwell is not just a chip. It is an entire platform. It's a supercomputer, and this provides a massive revenue opportunity for NVIDIA. And this next slide is very encouraging because this is a product roadmap from NVIDIA. This year, we get the launch of Blackwell. Then in 2025, we get Ultra Blackwell. And Rubin is scheduled to arrive later on in 2026. So again, I think NVIDIA's brightest days are ahead. As long as things remain peaceful in the Pacific, and as long as none of the hyperscalers significantly reduce their capex spending on AI, then I think NVIDIA should be just fine for at least the next 1 to 2 years. At least that's how I view the situation. Also, a quick reminder that this Monday, October 14th, U.S. banks and fixed income markets will be closed, but the stock market will be open. So while the market will be open on Monday, Monday will not be a settlement date. So if you sold a position today, don't be surprised if the money from that trade is not settled in your brokerage account on Monday. The money from that trade will likely not be settled until Tuesday of next week due to the bank holiday. With all of that being said, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.